Okay, so for this first tip, it's really just an easy trick about how to lay out information that we're displaying to students. So you can use this on Canvas when you're laying out your course design. You can use it on videos. You can use it on PowerPoint presentations. You can use it on printed handouts. It's just really whenever we're showing information to somebody, there's um, good and better ways to display that information so that it makes more sense to their brain. If we do it the right way, we'll actually enable some higher order thinking skills and we can get some stronger engagement in the learning. So let's get into it. Okay, so one way to start off a lesson is to evoke some strong emotions. So let's evoke the feeling of hate here. Let's imagine that we have some brand new account number that means absolutely nothing to us and we're forced to memorize it. So here's your brand new account number and I want you to try to hold it in your head. Some of you might be thinking that, well, I'll just write it down and that'll be a quick and easy way. I don't have to remember anything at all. And that would be a smart thing to do because note taking is kind of an instinct knowing that I don't have enough space for this stupid number to hold in my head. So I'll just put it on some paper, and then now that thing can exist outside of my head rather than try to hold it in my head. But let's pretend like you don't have the capability to take notes. And so when you hold this number in your head, which one of these options are you using to break it up? Because you're likely not just holding the whole number as one unit in your head. So which one of these options works best for you? Right. So I don't really care about your holding the number in your head. It's more about when you're holding that number in your head, how are you comparing that to the options on the screen? That's kind of the lesson of the day. So what I've done here, I've given you 5 options. There's obviously way more permutations of ways to break up this 9-digit number. I've given you only 5 options. And because I've laid out the 5 options on the screen, you're able to do this compare contrast thing. All right, that's really what I'm wanting you to learn is just lay stuff out together on the screen. All right, we're not like an optometrist where we have to do the classic like, is option A the one you like? How about option B? Option A or B? How about C? Right, so the optometrist has to do that because they're limited by their equipment, but in the teaching realm, we usually have screens, we have pieces of paper, we have whiteboards, and we have our classrooms. We actually get 3 dimensions of space there. So when we're using the space, we should use the space. So what I've done is I've stacked the options. You could lay them out left and right, but just putting them on the screen together, what that allows you to do is think about them better because you're not having to hold all the options in your mind one at a time. And then when I skip to the next one, you've lost it already. So here you can see the multiple options together and you're able to compare and contrast them. All right, so let's go to the classic bad PowerPoint example. So here on the left, we've all probably had to sit through one of these examples where they're just clicking through one slide at a time and the bulleted list comes up one click at a time. And just with every one of those clicks, they're losing our attention because they're kind of controlling your mind too much when they should just lay it all out together and it'll make way more sense to you at a faster rate than just sitting there waiting. It's kind of like when you're sitting on in the car driving some long distance on the interstate and all you have is just the thump of your tires hitting the seams in the concrete and you're finding yourself, your mind is wandering, you want to look at your phone, an hour is passing, you have no idea what you did with that hour, just gone, okay? We've sat through presentations like that. But at the same time, you can lay out this information way too much, like a fire hose, and then it's just chaos. It's like a wall and you can't go anywhere. So somehow we want to enter this space in between. On the screen right now are 4 examples of what's possible in this space between of not too much, not too little. You can see Amazon, when you get there, it's a whole bunch of information that you're hit with at once, and you're able to make sense of it, what's important, what's not, what are you looking for. Gaming is the same way. When a gamer is deep in the game, they're getting hit with a lot of data at once and then making split-second decisions to play the game and have fun. So yes, there's a certain amount of conditioning that needs to take place so that you can play a game at this high level or drive around and find the fast food restaurant. But that's what the class is for, scaffolding us up from a lower level up to a higher level, processing more information. But I'm pretty sure that no matter what level we're at one single bit of information at one time, it just the meaning starts to fall apart, and it can't make sense in our lives and to connect it to other bits of information that we know it should be connected to. To really drive this home, let's bring this into course design. So we have this imaginary student here. I'm going to call the student Ruby. We're going to say that Ruby's a first generation freshman, college on the first week. She's entering her very first Canvas class. She had online learning back in middle school in 2020 when we had the shutdown, and had a really terrible experience. And she's bringing that negative feeling with her on this college online class. And then, like a lot of us, she's probably addicted to social media on her phone, and that thing's nagging her for attention right now. So that's going to be her cognitive load. She's entering Canvas for the first time, and how is the course design going to help her figure things out? All right. So I presented some fake class templates here for you that you can look at. So the one kind of in the background on the left, it would be the home screen. So we're assuming that she logged in to Canvas just fine, and that when she was presented at the dashboard, she was able to see the tile for her class and she could click on it. So she got that far on her own, and then she's asking these questions: where do I go? What am I supposed to do? And the class design should tell her. So I have this welcome message. It's super brief, on purpose, and also clear. I'm trying not to overwhelm the student because they're coming in with all sorts of cognitive load and anxiety and stuff. I just want them to know you came to the right place and this is what you got to do. So welcome to the class. This is my name as a professor, and I need you to go to modules. Here in the TLPEC, we're trying to recommend more teachers use modules as like the ground zero of the class, just because it allows you to lay things out all together in space, doing this spatial adjacency. Okay, so then I have a modules window here. Week one, students tend to think in days and weeks, so I recommend organizing your class by weeks. You might think that units and sections make sense, but that's because you've built the curriculum and you've probably read the textbook 100 times. The student hasn't. They know how days and weeks work, though. So I recommend using those. And so it says very clearly and consistently with the naming, week one, image design basics. I guess week one is going to be about image design. Okay, and then underneath those are all the things that are going to happen in week one. We can see them laid out together, and so it makes sense to our student that is becoming less and less freaked out as they see that, all right, this is going to go okay. It's structured well. It's obvious to me, making sense to them. Okay. So the assignments are in there, and if you look closely, the assignment one has a due date on it. It's not worth anything. Okay. Assignment one, assignment two, or week one, assignment two is due later or earlier and has a higher point value. Okay, the student can just see that without having to click all over the place and get lost and concerned. Just all in one go, they see it. Makes sense to them. Okay, I'm also going to point out that I really stripped down the tools. Assignments and discussions and quizzes, those are all still existing in the background. They're just hidden from the student view so they don't clutter them up and add more to their cognitive load. They just go here and they see it and it makes sense because it's laid out together.